This video is for you if you're burning money with ads and you're trying everything, right? You're trying everything what your agency is saying. You are producing UGC creatives. You are doing a bunch of stuff, right? Everything that you should be doing, but yet you still don't get the results that you want to have, right? Then this video is for you because I'm going to break down what's the reason for that and what the reason is that almost nobody's talking about. And I'm going to show you how you should do it instead, what you should be doing instead, and where you will find an opportunity that has very little competition because it's a little bit harder to do, but that's ultimately what you want, right? So let's jump right in. So, first of all, let's talk about the old way, right? Let's talk about how things are done currently. And you might be doing these things, right? So, what I see a lot when it comes to e commerce brands, obviously, is that they just go out to the market and they blast their message of, hey, here's my product, 40% off, or hey, here's my product. The product is the best ever. It's amazing, buy it right now. Okay. So it's basically a very simple funnel. And now, I chose a static image here, but this could as well be a UGC creative and in many iterations. But what they actually do is they just try to push their product into the market. And what happens here is this can work initially, right? So you might see results initially, but then it fades out really quickly once you start scaling. And this is what happens to a lot of brands. And they're wondering, why is my return on ad spend going down while I'm scaling my budgets, right? So then I have to go back and then I have to, throw a bunch of creatives at Facebook. Then they work for a while and then they don't work anymore. Okay. So the underlying problem is that these ads are targeting the very bottom of the funnel, right? So they're targeting people that are product aware, that are potentially solution aware, but not really. So what you're doing is you just go out to the market and you basically only talk to a very, very tiny fraction of the market, right? So if you imagine your market being this here, okay, this circle is your whole market. You have like this audience here within your market that maybe has heard of your product or maybe has heard of similar products and is actively in the buying process and just looks for offers of the right product. Okay, so you're basically targeting these people, right? Which is a very, very tiny part of the whole market. And the other bad thing about this is that as it's so easy to do nowadays to get a couple of UGC creatives, to get a couple of static ads. I mean, now like with the recent updates, you can like ChatGPT can do all of your static ads, right? So this has become so easy and so simple that basically everyone can do it, right? In a couple of minutes or days, right? And what happens then is that obviously all the people, like all your competitors, they're doing the same exact thing and they're talking to the same exact audience, right? So what happens, obviously, it gets almost impossible to be profitable, number one, and then it also gets impossible to scale, right? Because this number here is pretty much limited. It's very small, right? You cannot it's not going to get bigger by itself. So, what is this? Finally, it is a red ocean, right? Because you are doing exactly what everyone else is doing, what all of your competitors are doing, and you're targeting the same people, which is a very, very tiny fragment of the market. So, what should you be doing instead? This is the new way, right? This is the new way that helped me scale my brands to 1 million a month, like combined all my three brands. This helped me, like the brands that I mentor, to go from 50K to 1 million a month, from 10K to 300K a month in a couple of months. And this is really a different approach to the whole thing. So once you understand that the market consists of different awareness stages, right? you can work with that and use this to your advantage. So let's go to the new way. The new way is essentially not only like talking straight about this is my product, those are my product features, right? They're my, I don't know, whatever product you have, right? If it's a supplement, then you talk about that it was lab tested, that it has won like awards and stuff like that. This is not really interesting to like a large part of the market, right? So the new way is really to think mass market. How can I sell my product to the biggest audience possible? And what happens then is that you have to change your approach, right? You cannot just push your product straight away to, in people's faces, right? But what we have to do is we have to talk about their pain points, right? We have to first basically meet them where they at. That's what I like to say, right? I just had a call today with one of my mentees, and we were talking exactly about this point, right? To meet them where they at, right? Because this way, um, it's way easier to get their attention. But then obviously we have to do certain things in order to, get them interested into our product, right? So number one is really to, connect with them on their pain point, on their problem that they have. Also understand their current beliefs, right? What do they believe to be true? What is, let's say, what are the solutions that they might have been tried already or might have tried already, and but they have failed, right? So the better I understand that, the better I can communicate that in my creatives, the better, the more attention I will get from these people, right? Which is a very large audience, right? So when we go to this here, instead of talking to this tiny fragment of the market, we're now talking to, the whole market almost, right? Excluding, let's say, unaware people. I'll get to that in a second. So this we do by obviously using still you could still use UGC, right? It's just a different kind of UGC, and it might be longer, right? It might not be this 30-second UGC, but it might be like a 2-minute, 3-minute UGC, because you just need more time to explain these things. Now, the other thing is VSLs, right? I've talked about them in some other videos. I will talk more about them in the future, which is essentially video sales letters that go for like 5 to 10 to 20 to sometimes 30 minutes. At the same time, founder ads are amazing to do that, right? To really meet them where they are. Maybe in your founder story, you actually created this brand out of having the same pain point, the same problem that they have right now, right? So this is where you would start. And then the next part is to really educate people, right? To educate them on why all of the stuff that they tried before does not really work. Then also to replace these old beliefs, right? Maybe they think, okay, this is the solution because my mom, my grandma, they used it, for years, and it sort of gives some results, but it doesn't really fix the issue. Now, if you can educate people on what the real root cause, and this is a key word here, what the real root cause is of their problem, of their pain, then you can basically replace these beliefs, right? Because once somebody understands, okay, this is the real root cause, they will look at all these solutions out there and say, well, they're actually not targeting the root cause, right? They're just like superficially trying to solve something, but it's actually not solving the root cause, right? So once you've identified that, that's where you can replace these old beliefs with new beliefs, right? So basically, you're educating them on looking for a solution that actually solves the root cause, right? And obviously, this is then where you present your solution, right? Because your solution is the one that actually tackles the root cause, right? I mean, I'm telling you all of that with the premise that your product actually solves that, right? So I'm not advocating for saying that if it's not true. But if you have a product that solves a pain point, then you have to present it that way, because you will just reach way more people and you can funnel way more people into your product finally. Okay, so how do you do that? I'm not going to go into detail right now in this video, but just to show you that um, this is an example of an advertorial, right? This is a great vehicle to educate people. Obviously, the VSL, especially VSL advertorial combination, is very, very powerful because it gives you a lot of space, a lot of time to explain that and get someone into this looking for a specific solution mindset, right? Then, when you're presenting a solution, also there you want to sell your product, right? Not just send them to like a product page with product page with a price, but what you want to do is you want to really make them excited about your product and explain what the benefits of your product are. So one way to do that is a listicle. Could also be just like a regular sales page. Important thing is that you have assets that actually help people understand why your solution is the best solution out there, right? And then the last thing is that you make people an irresistible offer, right? You make it easy for them to actually purchase. And one simple thing that I'm looking at there is always that the perceived value exceeds the actual price. Okay, very important, right? So what you want to do is, even if your product finally costs $100, you want that the real value is 150 or 130, right? That helps people to make that decision, okay, on the spot. So yeah, so basically what you're doing when we go back to this picture here is that you're targeting a way bigger market share, right? You're basically targeting people that are problem aware, solution aware, right? And this is what almost none of your competitors are doing because they're too lazy, potentially. So, yeah, that's what I would do. And this is how you get to the blue ocean finally. Now, I have a couple of other videos obviously talking about this, explaining that. But the important thing is that this is the framework to do that. You have to understand your target audience. You have to have a great offer, creative funnel, and then obviously optimize your LTV. If you want to know how to do that and how I could help you doing that, obviously click the link in the description. I've helped countless brands, currently 25 brands in the mentoring, to do that without hiring an agency. So, yeah, looking forward to see you there and see you in the next one. Take care.